Thank you, Minister, for coming. Always a pleasure to have you here. It'll be a lot easier today. I know how enthusiastic you are, but if you can actually try and answer our questions, it would be more helpful for everyone, including the translators. Telesat, which you know is a company that is majority owned by U.S. investors, that your Liberal government has spent over $5 billion on since 2019 to try and connect rural and remote Canadians to the internet with lower Earth satellites. Only one small problem. It doesn't have a satellite network that connects anyone to the internet. And in 2021, 6 months after you became minister, you gave $1.4 billion of taxpayer money to Telesat, a large portion of which was a loan, a very big loan. How much of that loan has been paid back? Just the number, please.
Mr. Chair, I'm very proud of the work of Telesat and the workers at Telesat, I must say. Telesat is a Canadian company. We're proud of what they're doing, and I can assure you that the investments, because I would say, Mr. Perkins, just to be clear, we're making money out of these loans. We have a return on the investments that we have invested.
Minister, I have limited time. With respect, Minister,
Mr. Chair, if you want me to answer or not, I don't know.
Well, you haven't answered. I asked one simple question, not an explanation of what Telesat does. I asked a question. That question is quite simple. Simple answer. How much of the $1.4 billion investment and loan, which was the loan was almost $800 million part of it, has been paid back since 2021?
Mr. Chair, let's be clear. It's your privilege, Mr. Perkins, to ask the question. It's my privilege to answer.
I would like you to.
So my answer to you is say I am proud of what Telesat is doing. I'm proud of the loan that we have granted them to have a large constellation, about 198 satellites, that will offer coverage to Canadians, importantly for our national...
Minister,
if you're going to interrupt me every time I'm trying to answer your question,
Minister,
it's not going to go well today for you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Perkins, Minister, please try to be succinct in your answers to and to the point, Mr. Perkins.
I will come to your latest announcement. I asked about the $1.4 billion. So the answer obviously is zero has been paid back. You also have, at that time in 2021, had $650 million allocated for equity as well as for warrants. How much have you spent in warrants on that 2021 option right now on taxpayer money?
Listen, I'm happy to get back to you with the specific, but what I think Canadians are concerned about is to make sure that we would have, for national security reason, a very broad coverage when it comes to telecom in the Arctic. I can tell you the network, the LEO satellite, the low orbit satellite that are going to be put in orbit by Telesat, is going to be key in NORAD modernization and for NATO allies to protect the Arctic and the North. And I would say, Mr. Perkins, using the federal government balance sheet in order to support Canadian companies is a smart way to do things, because in this case, in the loan we have provided, we're actually making money. We're making money because we borrow at a lower rate, then we lend the money, and therefore Canadians will be making money while protecting national security and ensuring that there would be coverage in the North and the Arctic.
Let's talk about the $2.1 billion loan that you just announced on September 13th, a 15-year loan. A 15-year loan that gives interest relief, essentially, no interest payments for the first 5 years. At the rate that you set in the contract of 4.7% plus the overnight repo rate, that's about a 10% interest rate at current rates. That's over $1 billion of interest in the first 5 years that you're forgiving to Telesat. And you said you'll get goods in kind. What goods in kind are you getting for $1 billion?
We're getting a satellite coverage to protect our national security, sir. And I would say we're making money. That's why I think Canadians pay. There's a lot of people watching at home.
You're not making money if you're forgiving the interest.
Mr. Perkins,
you're making a statement. I'm telling you facts. That's the difference between you and I.
I read the loan agreement. I don't know if you did. It's the loan agement has interest release for the first 5 years.
Sir.
There is no
if
interest being paid.
And I lend
you can't
10,
make money.
I'm making money.
You can't make money if you're not collecting the interest.
Mr. Perkins, please, we can't have, just for the interpreters, it doesn't work if I have the both of you speaking at the same time. So, Mr. Perkins, I'll let you go with your question, and then please let the minister answer.
Yeah, but make the minister answer the
When
question.
you relieve the interest for 5 years and they don't have to pay it, how are you making money?
Sir, I'm borrowing at a lower rate than I'm lending I'm getting warrant, and I'm getting a network coverage for telecom in this country to protect our national security. Anyone who's done Math 101, if you borrow at a lower rate and you land at a higher rate, you just don't take it from me, sir. No, but hold on. Do you want me to answer?
First 5 years. That's borrowing at an government interest rate, and then it's costing you money. And in terms of warrants, how much are you going to spend on warrants buying? What warrants are, for people watching, is the right to buy equity to bail out the company with their lack of cash flow. How much are you going to spend on those warrants to bail this company out, which after this loan will have $5.1 billion of debt on a market capitalization of $900 million?
So what's your question again?
My question is, how
not
are
even listening.
you saying you're going to make money when you're giving the interest away for nothing?
So for Canadians watching at home, it's very simple. I borrow at 2, I lend at 10. You don't need to
But
take
you're
it
not
from me.
collecting it.
Well, sir, do you want me to answer? If you want to make statements, I'm happy to
You're not
listen to
listening.
you.
Yes, Mr. Perkins, please let the minister answer, and then that'll be all the time you had for your questions. So, Mr.
Starlink already
Mr.
covers all of
Champagne,
Canada,
Minister,
and
you,
Elon did it with
you have
0
about,
tax dollars.
25 seconds to answer.
Okay, so what I was saying to Canadians.
Mr. Perkins, please.
Okay, so for Canadians watching at home, I borrow at a lower rate and I'm lending at a higher rate. I'm making, Mr. Chair, I don't know how you want.
No.
I'm happy to listen to him. I like his statements.
Yes, Mr. Perkins, you know the rules of this committee. If you don't have the mic, you're not to be speaking
It's his
over
time.
someone else, over a witness that we've invited. You've asked your question. I'm giving the minister time to answer. So please.
I've asked the question 3 times, Mr. Chair, and he's not answered it. He's giving me an answer that's not related to the question. The question is, in the first 5 years of the loan, you are giving interest relief. No interest has to be paid in the first 5 years. How are you making money when you say there's no interest being paid? That's part of the contract. I don't think you've read the contract, since it says there is goods in kind, no interest charged in the first 5 years of a $2 billion loan. That's the equivalent of $1 billion of interest relief to this company.
Okay, now, Mr. Perkins, you've had more than your time. I'd appreciate if you let the minister answer. I don't want any interruption. Mr. Champagne.
So, Mr. Chair, I appreciate. So for folks who watch at home, it's very simple. You borrow at a lower rate, you lend at a higher rate. You make the difference in between. And in addition to that, we're getting warrants, which is basically subscription rights to make sure that the Canadians would benefit from the plus value that we've created. And in addition to that, we are building a network of satellite to make sure that people would have telecom coverage in the north. That's going to help for our security, for national security. It's going to help for transmission of data when it comes to the Northern Passage for maritime operation and also for aviation. And we're going to be building, I think Mr. Perkins should celebrate, honestly, because we're going to be the largest factory in the world, Mr. Perkins, the largest factory of the world of its kind is going to be in Canada to produce satellite. We're going to produce 2 satellites a day in Canada. You should be proud of what we're doing for Canadians, because this is Canada leading in the 21st century. Not only will have protecting our national security, we smartly use our balance sheet to support Canadian workers, but in addition to that, we're going to be building 2 satellites a day. You should be celebrating, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister.
I think
MP
we all got a
Gallier,
little
the floor is
stupid
yours.
listening to that.